All right, we are back with UFC Abu Dhabi. I mean, we had a nice solid prediction for the previous card, which turned out, I guess, for some good, some bad. But this one looks pretty good. We think it's fairly underrated. I'm with Crash. I'm with Stand 'em Up. Let's get it going, boys.
Let's go, man. I'm excited for this card. Normal time for us Europeans, so happy with that
Let's
as well.
go.
Yeah,
Definitely
I should tell
super
Pedro the
smart.
same
Very
thing. When I was
excited.
talking to him earlier, I was saying, like I don't mean to bring it up with you specifically, but in my mind, I'm like, I hate these early cards. What am I gonna do with my night? And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I hang out with so many Europeans now that it's like I can't even bring that up in conversation because it's like you want to get slapped like that. That's slap worthy to complain about this card.
For sure, bro. I'm getting mad as you talk about it right now. But yeah, man, it's a good main card, good main event as well. I really like it. Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. I feel like this card, though, for some reason, I like a lot of underdogs here.
Interesting. Let's hear them.
I,
Let's get right into it, no?
yeah, I'm starting with the main event already. Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov, bro. I'm not that impressed with Nurmagomedov yet. He hasn't looked that good to me. He hasn't fought the greatest opposition. He got knocked down in his last fight by Begzat Amakan, and then when he did get a takedowns, you could see that his opponent just didn't know what to do. Corey is different, bro. Corey knows exactly what to do, how to stand up. There is one thing I'm really scared of with Corey is that he always gives up his back when trying to stand up, or he used to at least. I hope that he's fixed this. If he does, I feel like he should be able to get this done. It's still going to be close. It's still going to be an iffy fight, but bro, these odds don't make sense at all. It's a like 60-40 fight for me. I'm going with Corey, and I'm going with him probably by decision, but I could see a late, like round 4 or 5 TKO as well.
You want to go ahead?
Me, I agree with a lot of what he's saying. The fight that always stands out for me is the TJ Dillashaw fight, and I think that's got to stand out in Corey's head too, because it's the way the fight looked. I personally think he won that fight, but at a time where they really did score, control, pressure, and all that a little bit higher. I mean, you're giving up your back, even though it's in the clinching type of area. You're still against the fence like this with someone riding your back. I mean, I think he won that purely on aesthetic, and he has to fix those types of things against the guy who would happily take those positions, and you're kind of hoping more that it stays on the feet. He can move around a little bit. If he's learning from his mistakes, the level of fighter that he is, I got to go with Corey, especially at the number.
So I see it the other way around as you guys, my friend. So I actually see this as like a 60-40 probably to Umar's side. It scares me that Corey always lets these fights be so close when it goes to the decisions. Like even though the decision against Cheeto was those scorecards were insane, but he's not making like crazy statements as he used to do, like with the crazy knockouts and everything. He's being dominant, but he's letting it go to the judges. And this is Abu Dhabi. You know, the Abu Dhabi privilege is real. I feel like if Fumar can control a couple rounds on the ground, like get top position, control time, and he goes for some like flashy kicks that we know he has. I don't know. It scares me that if Corey leaves this to the judges, this could like slip up and go to Umar's side. So I probably see more ways for Umar to take this fight, to be honest. But yeah, it's probably going to be a very close fight because it's a big jump up for Umar. But somehow I think he just pulls it off. I have a feeling.
I mean, that
That
makes
sixty
sense
forty, that tells you that's a good line, though. That's a good
for
line. That
sure.
60-40. That's a
It
great
is.
line.
Yeah, it's. I just don't see what other people see yet. I feel like I've seen much bigger hype trains. Like for example, Hamzat. I feel like he was a much bigger hype, and he showed much more as well. With Umar, I just don't see what other people see because he isn't finishing guys that often, and even when he does, it's just unimpressive. So I such a big step up. I really see Corey
I
winning
mean, the
this.
knockout of Raoni Barcelos, I believe.
Yeah,
Am I correct?
yep,
That was
that's right.
quite impressive. Let's not forget about that.
To me, it wasn't, bro. It was such a small little shot. No idea how he got knocked out, and Hauni isn't even close to top 15. He's old. Like, he was like 36, 37 at that time. So how impressive was it?
In his defense, I think at the time, around that time, or in that time, he had actually worked through that COVID era. He had worked his way up. So to give him a little bit of credit, at that time, he may have been in that bottom area of the 15 ranks, I think, because he did work his way up a little bit. I remember
he wasn't ranked. That's what I do know.
I'm gonna find that out for you.
I'm pretty sure Umar hasn't fought any ranked opposition.
And he had a bad moment against in his last fight against the guy just coming up to the company.
Yeah.
I believe he got dropped by a shot. Was it left hook?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah,
something like this.
Something like this, yeah.
I mean, Corey could catch him, but I don't know. Like, if he gets the top control and just takes every round by a slight, if it's like almost a draw on each round, they'll just give it to Umar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
but also,
yeah,
you've seen Corey. He's wrestling too now, man. He's getting better. Even out-wrestled Piotr Yan, Song Yedong, Vera Vaughn. So it's there.
And we've seen the open workouts. He's got that RKO. The RKO is clean.
Yeah,
He might go.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. So yeah.
All right. Next up,
let's go.
Sharapudin Magomedov versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. To me, I just feel like Magomedov will win this one.
I mean, in the past, like people were very confident on Holland to beat Oleksiejczuk. I actually picked Michal Oleksiejczuk, and I was pretty confident he would knock out Kevin somehow. But yeah, that's crazy position happened. I was pretty confident in that one. I remember people were sleeping on him because like he has power in his hands, and he actually wobbled Kevin a little bit in that fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Him, no?
Yeah, he knocked him down. Yeah. So, but yeah. And I also recently, you guys 100% have seen this already. Someone commented on one of his posts like, "Are you ready to go to KSW after this fight?" And he answered something like, "Yeah, that's probably gonna happen." What was it?
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
I'm done with fighting.
And I'm
retiring.
Done with fighting.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that was like a bad translation from Polish or whatever it was, but yeah, that didn't give me any more confidence.
So he said it in Polish. I looked it up myself. He said it in Polish, and I just translated on Instagram, and that's just what it said.
So yeah, not much confidence coming from him, and not much confidence coming from me either. So yeah.
Yeah. Suraj, let us know.
I just feel like this is almost like a setup fight. I feel like they're trying to handpick an opponent for Bullet that really works in his favor. I think this is a showcase fight, as I like to call them. And the big thing for me is, kicking range. I think he's got it, especially to the lower half. I think Michael's really susceptible to body kicks. I think he could actually go down from a body kick, to be honest. Maybe even some really good chopping leg kicks. He's going to fight for boxing distance. And unless he finds that knockout blow, I just think everything from storyline to, business, UFC side to actual skill in the octagon, it seems to just point in Bullet's direction.
I agree. I just see this going similarly to the Pereira and Oleksiejczuk fight. Not exactly the same, but I see Sharapudin having the same ways to win. I see Pedro looking very interested. What's up?
No, I'm curious. I want to hear what you guys think about the next one. So yeah, I think we should just go straight into it.
Yeah, for sure. Introduce us, Pedro.
So up next we got Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. Oh, sorry, I skipped one. My bad. It's Marlon Vera versus David Figueiredo, a fight that's getting very slept on, and I just did it as well. I was mistaken here on the order. My bad. So yeah, let's see how Vera comes back from that awful loss against Sean O'Malley. Very disappointing, I believe, for him. His first title shot to go that way. He was getting picked apart hard. I saw some interviewer saying that it was impressive that we're seeing Vera coming back before O'Malley because the amount of damage he took in that fight. We think he would take a little bit more time off, and we're seeing Davison Figueiredo making his very successful move up to bantamweight, and he's been going on a little bit of a run. People have been forgetting how good he is on the ground as well. He showed it against Cody Garbrandt. People are very confident on Garbrandt to get the win on that. I was going with my boy Figueiredo, and no Brazilian bias here at all. But yeah, you guys want to give your predictions, or should I give mine already?
Yeah, you should give
Go for it.
yours, yours.
I feel like I see there's way more ways for Dayson to take this fight, be it on the ground, be it on the feet. I think he probably has the power advantage, the speed advantage as well. But you never know. Sometimes Marlon can just, like, I don't know, throw some crazy knees up the middle because he likes those, like, keep the distance with some teep kicks, work his kicks a little bit. If he comes up with something very new to his game, I think he can still do it. But I'm very confident on Figueiredo here.
Yeah, I do agree with the pick, but I feel like Figgy should not be striking with Vera at all, because I don't know, man. At bantamweight, he's kind of slow, not really menacing. He was at flyweight, bro. He was menacing. You saw him like, shit, bro. Like, this guy is insane. The way he fought Benavidez, the way he fought Moreno in the first fight, he was like coming out there to kill. And at bantamweight, I don't have the same vibe. Now he's just trying to win.
Fights. Am I mistaken? Like, I believe like Rob Font was like going for combinations, and Davison, every time he touched him, he was feeling it. If I'm not mistaken.
But, Rob Font doesn't have a good chin. He has a terrible chin. Let's be honest. So it's not the same.
He survived against Cheeto for 5 rounds, taking massive shots
from Vera.
I don't know if that's a bad chin,
brother. Though, he is tough. He is tough. That's the thing. He every time he got hit. Good by Jose Aldo, by Marlon Vera, by Figueiredo, he got hurt. He even got hurt by Ricky Simon, bro. You don't have a good chin if you got hurt by Ricky Simon. He's just tough. That's the thing. He's like from Boston, so you know those motherfuckers are tough. But yeah, I feel like he should not be standing with Vera. But I do think that if he starts wrestling early and often, he should be able to win 2 rounds, and maybe in the third, Vera will have some moments, but that will not be enough to win the fight. I'm going with Viggy by decision.
I like the size factor here. I think the line is far too wide. The other thing about it is, I think people forget that Vera came into the UFC as primarily a grappler. Like, he was taking some serious blows. I think it was the Grant fight where he was just beat up. And it was probably in that fight he realized he had to learn how to stand up, and he's gotten pretty good since then. But I just think that the size factor, 70% takedown defense, probably the smaller guy. The only thing that I don't like about Figgy, too, is I think Pedro said it. He lands big shots, but he doesn't really go so much for the volume, whether it's early on or right away. I feel like he's really trying to land like a heavyweight almost. And I think in a fight with a guy like Vera, you have to do what O'Malley did. You have to really actually box him up. You have to really show the volume, keep him at bay, not let him find his timing. Because I think with Figgy, like, the distance fighting is going to be a problem, the way that Vera fights long. And to be honest, I just really wish that Figgy didn't, move up so quickly in this division. I mean, if he does well, he does well. But like, the competition he's faced is really stiff. So the one thing I give him credit for is he's looked really good against tough competition so early. But the line's wide, and I just see Marlon being able to withstand any of that striking power, especially because he doesn't follow up and maybe defend the takedowns. The one thing about Vera, slow starter. This should really be a main event on a Vegas card or something. But they like to stack these cards, and I think the slow starting is the only thing I worry about with Vera.
I will add one thing before we go further. If you think that the line is too wide, just pick Figueiredo by decision, because he is not finishing Marlon Vera, bro. Nobody's finishing Marlon Vera for a fact, not at this point. Who's finishing?
Get a real naked.
Nah, he has good submission defense though.
Submission, it's true, but I remember Jose Aldo getting his back for I don't know how many minutes a couple of minutes ago, and I think Figgy could cinch something in. You never know.
Yeah, but
the thing is, he's never lost by submission. Like,
he has never.
So I really think, like, I agree with you that I think the wrestling aspect and control from grappling is the best path to victory. I think Pedro said it, and you might have said it too, if he was looking for his best way to win. You have to assume you might not get the finish, but the control time here, Vera trying to get the crowd to boo because he's in bad spots and can't get out type of fight, I think that's the type of fight that Figgy can win.
I agree.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually curious to see if this doesn't just end up being like a very interesting grappler versus grappler matchup a little bit, because it's true. Vera did come from a grappling background. He actually trains in the best jiu-jitsu gym in the world at AOJ with the Mendes bros. I'd love to see more grappling from him. Maybe we see like some guard game or something. Let's see. I'm curious to see.
I mean, he was getting kind of dominated by Frankie Edgar when he was like 40, so I don't really see that happening personally. But
Yeah.
next up, man, Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. This is the people's main event, I guess. Suraj, kick us off. Let us know.
So I'm probably gonna be one of those ones that frustrate guys. But here's the thing: you're giving me lines for the last 3 fights where I see them so much closer, and in this case, I mean, I guarantee you, people picking Chiesa are doing it primarily because they have minimal faith in Tony. I don't think Chiesa showed me anything that is screaming, "Oh, this is the big name he's gonna take down in some miraculous fashion." No, I think it's gonna look boring. If Chiesa wins this fight, it's gonna be a lot from control. It's gonna be from maybe taking the back a little bit. Just a lot of things people don't seem to like these days. And for me, I think Tony, he's looked slower. I'm a little fearful of how slow he's looked lately, but hopefully the daytime sun in Abu Dhabi helps him a little bit. And I think he has a much bigger chance of what the line suggests. So it's hard for me to pick Tony, but I don't see enough in Chiesa for me to side with him to be like, yes, he's definitively beating Tony, other than the worst version of Tony is going to get worked. So give me Tony with like very minimal professional backing.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel it's just more of a line thing, right? You don't think he won.
I just think that where Chiesa's good, bro, Tony has such a like. If there's one area where Tony can survive potentially, it's if this is some scramble rolling type of fight. And guess what? Chiesa has lost by submission in like over 90% of his UFC losses. So a quick Darce choke from Tony, 1 round, get him out of there. I mean, what was the line I found? Tony by submission is plus 1,500. That is a wild line for a guy who loses primarily by submission. So, I mean, unless he's boxing Tony up and making him bleed or get knocked out, I just don't see it.
Pedro, you were shaking your head, man. What's up?
Dude, first of all, I need to express how much I disapprove of this matchup, number one, because before we had another fight on this card which was Nick Diaz. And I think Nick Diaz should have been fighting Tony Ferguson. Both old guys, old heads in the game, both legends of the game. Like, that was the matchup to do. Like, both guys are gonna have a hard time against like any decent competition going forward. You know what I mean? And also, this fight being at 170, I absolutely hate it. Like, I feel like Tony's physicality like is not good. I don't feel like he was strong at 155 either. You know what I mean? And at 170, he's gonna feel it a lot more. And Chiesa is a big 170. We know this guy balloons up to like 210, and he says it all the time. And also, Tony has been having a hard time when people are wrestling him. Like, he's having a hard time getting up, even like against Bobby Green. Like, you know what I mean? And Chiesa, he's gonna put on that wrestling straight away. He's a much bigger guy. I know Chiesa loses a lot by submission, but it's because he gets into these crazy scrambles, which is true. Like, Tony could cinch up something in the way. But I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. I feel like Chiesa is gonna like be much stronger. Even if Tony cinches up some crazy darts in the position, I don't even see like him having the strength to finish the position. Dude, I'm being completely honest.
I don't know why I find that funny, but I get what
Yeah.
you mean. And it's my biggest fear, right? And if Tony picked your biggest fear, he goes in there and looks like a geriatric, like old, like unable to bones hurt type of fighter. But let me just say one thing before you continue, because I do want to defend him at that 170 mark. Size-wise, they're relatively close, but yes, bigger guy, I'll give it to Chiesa. But Tony even says, like, cutting down to 155 was so hard for him, and he won the 170 tough, and Chiesa won the 155, I'm pretty sure. So it's like, being able to go up to 170 at this age
How
is something that
long
my
was
work is. I know,
how
I
long
know,
ago
I
was
know. I have
this?
to
You know,
try.
like
I
Bro,
have to try.
like at 40, your muscle mass is going away. You know, I don't feel like I don't believe it was crazy hard for him to make 155 because you see the guys at 155, like he was him against Paddy Pimblett, the size difference. I felt like Paddy was like a bodybuilder in there next to him. Dude, I love Tony Ferguson. Like this is I don't want to be disrespectful, but it's like it's really sad for me. Today I saw something on Twitter like the new generation of MMA fans will only remember Tony Ferguson after he started losing. You know, they'll never meet the Tony Ferguson that was the beast that we know him as. So that's very very sad for me, and I wish the UFC would have given him like a little bit of a window, a easier fight to like sail off into the sunset. You know,
yeah.
but yeah,
But
another hard
honestly,
match, and
bro,
here we go.
at this point, who is a fighter in the roster of the UFC that you're like confident? Yeah, Tony Ferguson will beat him, bro. Nobody.
I just need one that I'll at least
Maybe Sam
I'll give it
Hughes.
like a 50-50. So, the
Yeah, you know,
disrespect, no, bro.
you've seen with the Olympic Games, you know, intergender combat sports is possible. So who knows, bro?
Dude, yeah, that's another topic for another time, but yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I want to address one thing Suki said. He said that there's not a big size difference, bro. Chiesa is huge at 170, bro. There is a
Very
huge
big.
size difference there, and all Chiesa will have to do is go for the lousiest takedown of his life, and he'll probably get it. And like Pedro said, bro, like once he gets the Dars, he probably won't even have enough power to really squeeze enough. Now, thing is, once Chiesa feels a submission, he taps like right away. That's the thing. It's kind of weird how he taps so fast, but I
If
just
I'm
don't
not
see.
mistaken, let me just interrupt you for a second. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had a Dars against Pimblett, no? Not too long. Was it against Pimblett? I believe he was close to finish like to having a full Dars on whoever it was.
Was
I
it not?
think it was Pimblett.
Was it Bobby?
Maybe it must have
No.
been Bobby then. But I remember he had something close, and I just remember feeling like, okay, he's not going to finish this. It's not even
Maybe I
close.
think I remember something similar with Paddy. Yeah, I think it was him. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not confident here, dude.
nah,
But I don't
not at
know.
all.
Hopefully, some miracle happens. The 120 rounds he said he's been sparring, maybe he does a difference. I don't know.
He's been saying this for so long, though. He's been saying, "Yeah, I brought back sparring for this fight and this and that." He's been saying this for like 4 or 5 years, bro.
That's not true, bro. He was with David Goggins the last fight. He was doing some
Nah,
cross
bro,
training
bro.
shit.
He's been saying
Nah, he
this
wasn't
so.
sparring. He wasn't sparring David Goggins. And I will say, for how tough that man really is, to see him in an octagon presence and how lost he was in another man's corner, it just goes to show you that
It's funny,
there's
right?
athletes, but then there's like professional fighting athletes, and it's a different world. Like it was insane to see that.
It's funny to me to see like celebrities being corners of fights just like look so awkward. With Zuckerberg as well, he was like standing there like you seen that video of him like trying to grab things like people gave and nobody gave it to him. It was so awkward. I find it funny that such dominant people, like if you put them in a certain situation, they're like super weird, you know. So
Let's be honest, everyone was making fun of him, but if we were in that position, we would have been super awkward as well, you know?
bro,
You
I'd be
just
giving
get called up
advice.
last minute to corner 12.
I think we could have done better. I do believe that our knowledge at least would have had us tried to look the part. Trying, at least saying something. The look on that man's face was a guy who fell out of the crowd by accident and landed there and just didn't want to get caught. That's what it looked like. It was probably one of the most awkward cornermen I think I've ever seen in the history of the game. Like
Put
it
me
was
in the
super
corner, bro.
awkward.
I'm Trevor Whitman with it, bro. I'm the Nurmagomedov maker, you know. I'm different, bro. Nah.
I'm more like Mike Perry's wife. But like I'll scream some shit to get you pumped up for sure.
Punch him, come on, punch him, bro.
But I want to
But
see
one
more
last thing I'm
celebrities
gonna
because
say
it's
about
good
these
content,
guys.
huh? Go ahead.
Yeah, right. One thing I'll say about these guys is, 6'1" versus 5'11", 76 inch reach versus 75 inch reach, and 87 born, 84 born. I understand that the bigger guy. I didn't say the size was there. He's the bigger guy. But I mean, I think that we can't overestimate in a fight where Tony, like the managing of distance matters. He's kind of got a bit of a upper hand in the way he fights and how there's not so much of an actual length difference there.
Let us know, Pedro. You had one last thing to say.
No, actually, nothing else to say. Just that Dana White, this was a bigger disrespect for you by you to a legend of the game. Nick Diaz versus Tony Ferguson should have been the fight to make. It's just sad that he didn't make it. Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
100%.
Word on the streets are it's that Nick got word that he wouldn't be able to smoke weed before the fights or around the time where he's there, and he just said, "No, I'm not going, guys. Forget
Visa
it."
issues, I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah,
one
it's
last,
easy issues.
one
I said the
last thing.
streets. I said the streets.
One last thing. Last time Ferguson was at 170, he looked so bad against Nate Diaz, bro. That was so bad. Like, I just don't see that guy, like 2 years later, be anything compared to any guy in the UFC roster.
You know, the first thing that came to mind when they were setting up Tony and Nick Diaz in the same card, I thought something like the other card that
278.
happened. Like last second, the fight falls out, and they make Chiesa versus Luque, and they do
Yeah.
Tony versus Nick. Dude, that would be perfect. That would have been perfect. But yeah, I guess that now there's no chance of that happening.
And did you guys know, by the way, about this? Khamzat said in a press conference at UFC, like Media Day, UFC 294, he said that he was supposed to fight Nate Diaz, but the UFC had other plans. So he said that it was on purpose, basically.
I mean, those script writers are backstage like
bro.
going crazy.
UFC is fake, bro. Did you not know?
It's like WWE, guys. Come on, let's be honest.
That's what I think. I love that you said it, but like in my mind, with how I've seen the sport progress, that's another topic for another day.
Wait, you serious?
Oh, bro, you don't believe that there's a little bit of like cohesiveness now with how they're running things versus like how they do promotion for the
No, I
WWE.
mean the fights, the fights.
If you don't see, I mean, I'm not saying they're staged or anything, but I mean, wouldn't you say they're doing everything they humanly can to make the fights a certain type of way, and then also lining up fighters to fight certain guys to make certain things happen? I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand.
But
Yeah,
that's
that
different.
makes sense. But besides, I think that's as far as they will go, I believe.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. We're going too far in now. Next up, Mackenzie Dern versus Lupita Godinez. One of the fights ever. That's all I'll say. I like Godinez here. I think that she's good enough with a takedown defense to keep it on the feet and just make it a close split decision type of fight where she wins. Like one judge will give it 30-27 one way, other will give it 30-27 the other way, and then one will have it 29-28. That's the type of fight I expect here.
The other reason I also think that Godinez is probably the best one to go with here is that Mackenzie, she has a fight coming up, a super fight at CJI, a big jiu-jitsu event that's going to be competing with the biggest event of all time by ADCC. I don't know, I'm sure you guys have been hearing
Craig
about
Jones.
this. Yeah, Craig Jones, Volkanovski's coach, is starting this massive event that people are going to be, if they win their divisions and the super fights, they'll be making $1 million. And Mackenzie, she's going to be up against like the best female grappler out there right now, or one of. So I think for the amount of money she's going to make on that tournament, if she wins, she's probably putting in more time in her grappling than be thinking about MMA. So yeah, if Godinez just is able to keep the fight on the feet, I think she'll do very well there and just take the fight by a decision probably.
Yeah, I agree with the same points. And it's funny because I feel like Lupi's actually taken on some pretty good wrestlers and avoided getting taken down. And the thing is funny, I was a little bit more confident in Lupi, say 24 hours ago, but I saw a clip of Mackenzie Dern training for this fight. And I mean, she looks in really good shape. She's working with Perillo as usual. And the combos look pretty good. But in my mind, I'm like, to be training with a boxing coach for that long, who's that good, but still look the way you do 3 or 4 minutes into a fight, Like you lose all sense of technique, and you just start looping these things and looking for the takedown. And I think that's the version of Dern that will lose this fight without question, because I don't think she has the entries to get the fight to the ground. I think Loopy might even be the better wrestler, maybe not the better grappler, but I think she might even be the better wrestler. And if those combos are landing and she has enough volume, Dern's been beat up by some pretty bad fighters recently, so I got Loopy in this one as well.
I feel like, let me just say something else. I feel like as most grapplers, like heavy grapplers, I think the best chance Mackenzie has is if she tries to grapple early and not play in the striking realm for a long time. Just go straight for the striking. If you feel like you cannot get the entries on the takedowns, go for your crazy head and arm choke that we know she goes for. Even if Loopy takes your back for a second, you just try and reverse it somehow and just work your jiu-jitsu. Like, she has to work her game here and not get caught up in the striking. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Dern's by submission is plus 250. I didn't know that.
Might be good, huh? Not bad.
It's not bad. It's
Not bad.
But
Not
I could
bad.
also see her win a decision because she hasn't really submitted anyone as of late. Like in the past few years, her only win has been against Torres, Tisha Torres, and that was a decision as well. So
Yes. So,
When we were looking at this fight earlier, wasn't Loopy the underdog?
yeah,
Yeah, so this line is definitely moved in favor of Dern. Dern's now the favorite, like by a very small
Dern
margin.
was
Like
already
it's
favored.
minus. No, but it's not like it's not even plus money anymore for either side.
oh, that's good. As good
That's
as I
pretty wild.
already laid money on Loopy
I wouldn't call it late. It's about to get wild for the next like 24 hours.
for sure, bro. So this is the last fight on the main card. Joel Alvarez versus Els Brenner. How do we say the name of Brenner? Let us know, Pedro.
Elvis Brenner.
Elvis
Brenner.
Brenner. I'm not saying
Just
that,
go.
bro.
Just say Elvis Brenner. That's fine. And Joel Alvarez, not Joel, I think.
I'll say
It's
Joel.
Spanish name. Joel. Okay, go ahead.
Els Brenner, he's known for the comebacks with the hairline, with his fight against Guram as well. It's also notable. But he's a good fighter, man. I like him. He's a dog in there, man. He does have some chin issues, which I am kind of afraid of. But overall, I think that he should be the better wrestler. Should be good in the grappling as well. If he takes him down the second this fight starts, he should be good. But man, if he stands for with Alvarez for like a good amount of time, I see him getting hurt. I see him even getting finished. I'm going with Brenner here. I changed my pick yesterday, Suki. We did another video and I had Alvarez, but now I'm changing my pick to Brenner. I feel like his wrestling and grappling is good enough to win this probably by decision.
Luke, you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm just gonna add something. Sure. I think this line's a little too wide. I think this fight's a lot closer, as opposed to all the other fights where I think the line's too wide in favor of the dog. I think I think Brenner has a lot higher of a chance to win this fight than what the numbers suggest. But I do like Joel Alvarez in terms of style. I mean, if he gets hit hard, I think this could be a very rough fight. We talked about it before. The Arman Sarukian fight's a great example where if you can get that top position and just kind of land those elbows, bust him up a little bit, I think he will succumb to potentially a finish loss there. But I mean, at length, he's a good fighter. He's got the grappling to back him up. I think the scrambles could be solid. I got him winning, but I think the confidence level is a lot lower than some of the other fights we've already spoken about, and the fact that he's such a massive favorite. I mean, I think this has dog or pass written all over it.
And Brenner is a dog, so I like this one.
I mean, this fight is very hard for me to pick because I feel like I remember seeing Yoel Alvarez versus Thiago Moises, and I saw that fight and I was like, dude, this guy's a world beater. This guy is insane. His striking is crazy and everything. So I feel like when he wins, like he wins in an amazing fashion. Like he's like untouched. And then when he loses, he just I don't know. Like if it's like a snowball effect with him. If things don't go his way right away, it starts going bad. And what I think it's going to be an advantage for Elvis, like as we know, he has a crazy dog inside of him. Like he's scrapping like crazy. He lost 2 rounds against Kukuta Deladze and then made that crazy comeback. So I feel like even if Yoel like starts very well, like if he's beating him in the striking at first, and he doesn't put Elvis away easily, and like he starts getting pieced up by some things and things don't go his way in the late rounds, I feel like Elvis can get it done. So it really depends how fight how fast this fight stops. If it's early, I feel it goes to Alvarez. If it goes late, it's Elvis. So yeah, very 50-50 fight for this. I'll probably go with my Brazilian boy, Brene, but it's very hard to pick here.
I agree, bro.
And
Everything you said.
the other thing is,
I agree.
Brenner's never been finished too. Like in all those fights that we've seen of his, the style of fighting, he's been close, but actually never been submitted, never been knocked out in his pro career. So it's like the way Pedro put it, it's like over the 3 rounds, it could be just a complete beat up fest on either side. It's really hard to see which way it goes, but that 3rd round is really going to be something special if it gets there.
Yeah, like you said, he's never been finished, but he's been so close, like too many times. Oralbay, bro, Miktibek Oralbay, you can hear by his name, he's a wrestler at heart. He hurt him so bad 4 times, bro. And if that's happening, I can't imagine what Alvarez will do if he connects, bro. Like Alvarez has power, bro. He finished Thiago Moises on the feet. It's not easy to do.
Can I just say that it's insane how he makes 155? Because like he's like 6'3", I believe, and he's not small. Like he's not small for his frame.
He's
like
bigger
he's
than
got
Turner,
some
bro.
muscle on there. Dude, exactly. Like, dude, I don't know. Like his gas tank probably takes a crazy. It's a crazy shot on his gas tank. His chin probably is not going to be as strong. I'd like to see him make a move up in the future. Let's see how this goes. But yeah, if he can't make a run at 55, I'd like to see him do a run at 170. Dude, I remember it. Now it didn't age very well. I remember making a post when he beat Moises, like saying this guy's going to be a world champion someday, and then he went on a little bit of a train derailment. But I was on that train for a while, dude.
Yeah, but he only
I
lost
have
to
to back you
Sarikin,
up
though.
on that. That performance was incredible because
Yes.
Moises was coming off of this like run where he started to look like he was going to be a potential title challenger. So you had that in the back of your mind, where holy crap, like Moises is that guy right now. And then all of a sudden, Alvarez just pieces him up like that. I am right there with you. That fight lives rent free in my head, and I think that might even play into guys believing this fight's so close because it could go either way. Imagine he just gets absolutely dummied the way he did against Sorokin. Guys like us are going to eat our words again, but like he put that show on no matter what you say. Like that was there, and so the
Exactly.
potential to happen again can happen.
Yeah, man. And I remember I told people that Alvarez was gonna beat Moises, but nobody like really believed me. So I was really happy when that did happen. But yeah, I'm seeing Brenner win here, or he gets finished early. That's what I'm seeing, and that's the entire main card. I would like to hear you guys' most confident picks of the main card, and then we'll finish this video.
Oof. Most
Oof.
confident. Let me look
You know,
back.
well, yeah, that's it.
I'll just straight away I'll say Sharaputin. I feel like that's probably very confident on that one. Kies, unfortunately, very confident on that one. And yeah, I'll stick with those two.
Yeah, so I think like I kind of called Shara the Super Saiyan pick of the week for me. I just think there's value on his finish at plus money, and he's coming in at like minus 250, which is a pretty good parlay piece. So I'll agree with that. But just to give a secondary one, I really like the Sandhagen Marlon Vera lines themselves are just screaming at me, and it's hard for me to just like obviously not be super confident in it, but like when we're talking about a numbers game. The paths to victory are there enough that these lines. I mean, you have to take a chance.
Yeah, for me, Sharapuddin as well, obviously. And I will say the more I talk about Figgy versus Vera, the more I am confident in Figgy to win here because he's a smart guy and he has been using his wrestling more often. So that's what I do like to see. So I see Figgy winning as well, and like I'm 99% sure that he will win by decision, which is plus money. So that's I like that. And I'll say I'm confident.
One last thing before we go. I need to say my GOAT, heavyweight GOAT, Shamil Nogaziev. He's coming back and he's getting the W. The GOAT. He's
Shamil
going
Pookie
for that
Gaziev. Nah.
Nogaziev, bro. You know it.
That third
Oh,
round
you
is going to
mean
be the
like
fight
no
of the night.
gas?
Shamil Nogaziev, bro. That's his name, bro. What you mean?
I
I love
heard
that.
you
No
say it.
gas,
I was like, what
yeah.
does he mean, bro? Like,
That's a great nickname.
I mean, bro, it looked more like no heart, to be honest. He just gave up against Rosenstrike.
But he's coming back and he's gonna start. He's making his run. Tom
Title
Aspinall
run
has no
starts,
chance. John Jones has no chance.
That's why John Jones retiring, bro.
True.
You heard it here first. The Gadziev Sam Hughes title run starts now.
Yeah, that's it, guys. If you have anything else to add, I'd like to hear it. If not, we'll finish this video right now.
My
Nothing.
boy.
You
I think
guys
that's
wearing
all.
caps all the time, by the way, but okay.
My first time wearing a cap, dude. I have beach hair. It's not looking good, bro.
Beach hair looks good.
Yeah, I always wear hats. It's just like I feel like it keeps my hair in place. My hair's actually kind of long. I cut it a while ago, but it's actually quite long.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.